everyone, my name is Shintabiela and we are Eternal Productions. Thank you so much for joining us on our second episode of Empowering Africa. Today we will be discussing women empowerment with 5 powerful leading voices from different parts of South Africa and Africa. I think it's always beautiful to see women and black women make waves in whichever industry they choose, and it's only fitting since we are celebrating women this month, even though we should be celebrating them every day. Thank you for joining me and stay tuned as I introduce our guests. Our first guest is Dr. Mokgadi Motemela, who is an occupational medicine specialist. She founded the company Mishumo Medical and is one of the few occupational specialists here in South Africa. Dr. Mokgadi is currently serving as the chairperson of the South African Society of Occupational Medicine in Limpopo chapter. She is a distinguished professional and a seasoned researcher, having recently completed research for the Mind Health and Safety Council on the impact of HIV and or antiretroviral on the auditory system. Even though she is a leader in her field, Dr. Mokgadi still enjoys being hands-on in service delivery, as she believes that offers her a platform to engage with colleagues and clients, affording her an opportunity to identify areas for improvement. Our second guest is Ria Ludwaba, who is the Vice President of SAFA, South African Football Association, and that's powerful as there's not many female voices in that position or in that field. She also founded the foundation, the Ria Ludwaba Foundation, and this is a statement she had to say. A challenged world is an alert world, and from challenge comes change. So let's all choose to challenge. At the Ria Ludwaba Foundation, they would like to challenge international and South African corporations, global citizens, and civil society to partner with them in implementing young girls and women empowerment programs like gender-based violence and working with men for future women leaders development. Our third guest is Sylvia B. Mwanza, who is nicknamed Sunshine. She's an entrepreneur, founder and CEO. She is also a part of the fashion industry and branding, and she's also a consultant and change agent. She will share more on what she has accomplished and what she does. Our fourth guest is Dr. Mantla Sophie Mutumokgolumake, who studied from 1894 to 2018, where she received her doctorate of technology, computer science, and data processing in Tshwane University of Technology. During those years of study, she worked at various places as a secretary and data entry. She is now a lecturer and will share her story on how that in itself was a struggle to obtain. Our fifth and final guest is Mpumi Morema, who is a graduate from Mpumalanga Nursing College. She also graduated and obtained her BA from Tshwane University. She worked for the government for 10 years, the private institution for 14 years, and 3 years in mining. She is currently self-employed and the clinic manager of Unjani Clinic in Kanyamazane, rendering primary health care and occupational health with Senwabi Occupational Care. And that is the end of our introductions. Let's head straight into the interview. Hi Mpumi, how are you today?
I'm good, and you, man?
I'm good, thanks. So where are you from? Where are you calling us from?
I'm in Nelspruit, in the township called Kanyamazane.
Yeah.
I'm at work as we speak.
I can see. Thank you for setting aside time to join us today. Okay, thank you. And next we have Dr. Mokgadi. How are you today?
Hi, Chantel.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, and yourself?
I'm good, thanks for asking. And where are you calling from?
I am working from home today.
Oh, nice. Which province?
Yes, Johannesburg.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Mokgadi.
Province of Gauteng.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Mokgadi. Dr. Make?
Yes. Good morning, ladies. It's Manka Sophie Mutumokgolumake. I'm situated here now in Bulkwan campus, Tshwane University of Technology. I'm glad. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is the first time I've been interviewed.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with women empowerment. Thank you so much for the exposure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. And next I'll ask, oh, hi, Sophia. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Thank you for asking. So where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Lusaka, Zambia.
Wow, we have entered the continent of Africa. That's amazing.
My name is Sylvia Mwansa. I live in Lusaka. I'm married with 5 children, and with those 5 children, 3 of them have given me a total of 7 grandchildren. And my nickname is Sunshine because I'm a happy soul and young at heart.
Hi, Ria. How are you today, and where are you calling from?
No, I am fine today, and I'm calling. I've linked from my office in Midrand.
Okay, lovely, lovely. It's an honor to have you all join us today. There's a reason you're here. You know, you're all doing amazing work in the different fields that you are a part of. So thank you so much for putting aside time for us. I Googled the word empowerment, and this is what it means. This is what Google said. Authority or power given to someone to do something. So empowerment is not just about high five or good luck. It's about taking action or giving or allowing for someone to do something with the authority or power you have. So my question is, the first question before we get into the personal ones is, I would like that each of you introduce yourselves and tell us how you got to where you are and who was the person who gave you the opportunity or authority or power to do what you love, or did you create the opportunity yourself? So I'll start with Dr. Mukhadi, since you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Chantal. My name is Mokhadi Mutemela. Actually, I like losing the title when I speak. My name is Mokhadi Mutemela. I'm an occupational medicine specialist. I practice in Polokwane and in Gauteng. So getting right into your question, the two people that have given me the authority to feel empowered are my 2 parents by giving me a good education, because I believe that liberates me. That affords you a chance to live your choices. So if I'm in a predicament where I feel like I'm not my best self, or I'm being abused or oppressed, I can afford to leave because I've got the financial muscle to do so. So the answer to your question is my 2 parents for giving me education.
Lovely, lovely. That's always great to have your parents' support. Thank you so much, Dr. Mukhadi. I'll ask Bumi next. You can answer the question.
Thank you very much for an opportunity. And the people who encouraged me was my mom. She was not an educated person, but she would love to see us educated. So I thank her a lot for the support. And I started nursing immediately after school, after I finished my grade 12 with Rob Ferreira Hospital that is based in Nelspruit. And from there, I've been studying, to upgrade myself. So I enrolled with a college where I get my diploma. I'm a nurse. Then I also went far to University of Tshwane University, where I enrolled my bachelor for occupational health science. So right now I'm practicing for both. I'm doing primary health care with Unjani Clinic that I was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson's. And I'm also running my occupational health services as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mpumi.
As I've introduced myself, my name is Mantha Sophie Mutumokulu. I come from the Dusty Road, far north of Limpopo, from Buchabelo, from the village called Buchabelo. It's where I was born. And then I passed my matric in 1983. And fortunately, I come from Hamamaila, Buchabelo, in the province of Limpopo, and my village is Buchabelo. It's where I studied my grade 12, in that case it was a matric in 1983. And then after that, then I was fortunate I got married before I could continue with my studies. And then I got married to Joseph Make and blessed with 4 kids. And then after my firstborn, then I went to the college. I was fortunate that, unfortunately, my father insisted that I should go back to school. Otherwise, I would come back to the family so that I can get learned before I can continue with my life. So I studied office admin, secretarial office admin at Shigwan Matala Technical College. And thereafter, and then I moved, I worked in the Department of Home Affairs, now called Land, Housing and Local Government, for 10 years. Then after 10 years, because my father was pushing me so that you need to further your studies, I had to register and leave my husband with my parents, with my children behind, and registered at Technical Northern Gauteng, the then called Tshwane University of Technology. And I obtained my office management and technology diploma in 2000. 2001, I obtained my BTech degree in post-school education. And then 2004, my master's degree in educational management. And I didn't want to further my studies because, this discrimination. Because I wanted to become a lecturer. Unfortunately, at the time when you apply, you'll find your CV in the dustbin. But that didn't stand on my way to continue and further my studies. And then I was the secretary by then. But I continued until the 2 universities merged, and then I became the departmental administrator. Then after some few years, then I was appointed as the faculty administrator in 2009. And then at least the position was the same with the lecturer. So I didn't have any problem in studying further. But seeing that the other people are also studying, I wanted to go on and study again so that I can show my children that studying is not a difficult thing to do. So even though I was old, I wanted to continue and get my PhD. So I registered. Firstly, you get the challenges, you register, you don't have a supervisor, you register again. So it's a challenge. But until at least I got my 2 supervisors, and then I continued in my studies until I got my degree in 2018. So that's when I was graduating my degree in computer science and data processing. That's who I am now. And now I am a lecturer stationed at Polokwane campus because I asked for transfer. So that because I'm getting old, I need to be near my house, my home, and my children. Unfortunately, those children are now grown up. They are doing their own things. So I'm staying here with my husband. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sophie. I'm always inspired by women who love to study because unfortunately, I don't think I was blessed with studying, but I appreciate it and it's inspiring. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, great.
I've created my own environment because I've chosen to challenge each opportunity that comes my way. My background is I'm an entrepreneur, but I used to have a very good job, but circumstances made me stop that job so I can concentrate on looking after my child. One of my children has got sickle cell anemia. So that's how come I stopped work to go and look after my baby. But my first training, I trained as a secretary, business administration. Then I scaled up. I did business administration. I actually went to, I was sponsored, by Danida. And I did that, and I came back. I started doing business administration with the same company that I worked with. Then I've been developing myself. I've been adding to my skill. So by the time I was leaving work, I was already an administrator of my own company. So I went and set up my own company, SBM Investments. In 1994, dealing in fashion, I actually dressed VVIPs, I dressed the president, I dressed the first ladies, I dressed executives, and I've actually done a patent on our first president, Dr. Kaunda. I've patented his suit because I dress him. His safari suit, I've got the trademark for producing the safari suit for KK. I'm sure most of the world knows President, our first president of the Republic of Zambia. In fact, why I have chosen to do that is because I've got a lot of fond memories with the first president. Because in his house I met my husband, Stephen, and we've lived a life of embracing people from different kinds of atmospheres, from different kinds of environments, different kinds of tribe and race. We're just embracing, and we've done this through our service organizations. I'm a Lady Circle International. I became the first woman of color to have held international president in the organization after 70 years of its operation. So I was elected as a vice president in Romania. I became president in Iceland, and my year was in the Netherlands. And I was also honored during my AGM. I was honored to ring the World Cheese Market to signal its official opening of the World Cheese Market in the Netherlands, in the city of Alkmaar, where there is that facility. I have, from all this experience that I have gained, I decided that I was not going to die with the knowledge that is given to me. So I was going to use the knowledge to share it so that it can become useful. So when I came back from this position, which is the international position, I came back home in 2007 and started a consultancy. But first, before I started the consultancy, in Africa, people love to say, no, you've got a master's in this, you've got a what in this. So I decided to go back to school. So I went and did my master in business administration with Edith Cowan University of Australia. I graduated in 2009, and that is the time that I did make the consultancy so that I can use it to share knowledge. So that has been, the life. And before that, after that, of course, the business is still running for the fashion and the printing and advertising, which my son runs. And so in another thing that came up, when you're doing consulting in my country, you need to be certified as a teacher, or you need to learn the teaching methodology. So as that requirement, I had to go back and learn, teaching methodology. So I took out 1 year and did that. And now I'm a qualified teacher, entrepreneur, and, I've decided that I am going to be sharing this. I'm going to be on that platform. When they call women leaders, somebody must be able to find my name and be able to use it and get the information that it's possible. You are able to do whatever you want. And, just to show that especially for my kids and my dad, who really wanted us to be to be who we are, because I come from a very big family where, you know, and separated, and you know, my father had the first set of the family. He had five girls of us, and those five girls, probably at that time they didn't know that the Y and X chromosome is determined by the man, so they divorced. So my mom went and got married and had five kids. Two of them were female. My dad married and had four more girls. So, and my stepmom, I was raised by a stepmom. I actually owe my success and my discipline from my stepmother. She treated us very well. And when I see people saying stepmother, I say, okay, they are great stepmothers, and we call our stepmother, we called her, she passed on, we called her our godly stepmother, who really treated us so well that we could conquer the world with what she taught us. So these are the issues that I also talk about, that, you are who you are because of the people that are around you. So we have to always take care of what it is that we have to do. So I'm actually a doctoral candidate. Have to finish this year. I've already done the research and everything. And I've chosen to do change management. And the change management that I'm doing such that it's just based on common sense, on the experience that I've gained, so that I can share it, properly with the people that are around me. And these things that I've learned, I've not seen them in the times that I've been sitting on the desk in class. I've not seen them. So this is why I've chosen to just do the common sense things that change people's lives for better. And for me, I've chosen to do this just in the 5 areas, in the 6 areas of life: family and home, financial and career, spiritual and ethical, social and cultural, or the 6 areas of life that make up a total person. So that's what I facilitate. And I launched this, I call them the cocktail chats. I launched this actually the other day on the Women's International Day, on the 8th. It's just 2 days old, but I've been doing things in the background. I've been, because I've been facilitating all this time. So it is just now I have captured it. I have made it personal and made it family and made it, that anyone can learn it, even if you haven't gone to school. So this is actually what I am doing now. So I am just going all out there and, facilitating the 6 areas of life. And I start with family and home, where we can talk about everything else. We can talk about what makes a family, what makes a leader. In a family with COVID that has come, actually, the COVID has made me stronger. I've actually arrived. The COVID has made me stronger in that it has enabled, this spirit of sharing, spirit of acceptance, that you are able to do the things that really inspire you. And this is what I've been able to, to achieve, and able to achieve, so that whatever I'm doing, it resembles me. So I have to walk my talk. I walk my talk in everything that I do. And I've added one very special subject. I've gotten a special coach, because during COVID, we have realized that a lot of homes were disturbed. It's like families were disturbed. It was not really great to sit at home and embrace one another. So I've learned that this COVID is not so bad after all, because it has brought families together. So I have added this sex education, and I've got a facilitator for it, so that when people are at home, they can also enjoy everything that's around them, especially for us whose children have all gone away. What is it that we can be able to, to do when I'm just me and my husband? What can we be talking about? So I have developed this desire for everyone to talk about all the areas of life, and if they can embrace all the areas of life, we're going to have good natured relationships, good manners, and just people doing the things that they really want to do all the time. So that's about me. I am sure I have done my introduction and I've done also what we do, and I heard that how has the COVID impacted the people. They said go and work from home. I have impacted myself, and I've created things to work from home and to work from the office. So wherever I am working, and I'm making a difference the way that I am captured to do. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. I feel like saying amen. That was powerful. Thank you so much, Sunshine. Okay.
Personally, I just believe that every opportunities that we get, we can't create ourselves. It is created. I think God gives us the ability to do things in our life. I don't think really that that's my belief. My belief is that everything that I've achieved in my life was through God's mercy. God gave me that opportunity to be able to get those opportunity and be able to achieve them. I think that's the principle of how I see the opportunities before me.
Yes. Oh, that's powerful. Amen. Okay, I love that. We'll move on to the personal questions now. So I will start with, let's see, Dr. Mukhadi, your question. I see that you own your own business called Mishumu Medical, and you've partnered with various high-profile businesses. But when 2020 happened, life changed. How can women still be in business during a pandemic?
The question is, how can women still be in business during the pandemic?
Yeah.
That's a good question, Chantel. Somebody once said that with every challenge, there lies an opportunity to come out stronger. So what I found that as much as the pandemic was bad, it taught us new ways of continuing with business. So what we did was we then adjusted our model and we adjusted our services to suit our clients better. For example, now there was a big gap in our clients were always anxious about the spread of the virus in the workplace. So now we had to find ways of reassuring them on how to make sure that should one employee be infected, then it does not spread to the rest of the employees. How to control chronic diseases so that those who are infected and have chronic diseases, they are then able to survive and do well. So for us, COVID-19 meant we had to adjust our business model and be more present for our clients, and also find ways within the company to communicate with each other without being in each other's presence. So in a way, I found that actually we grew. We even established a foundation very soon after the pandemic, which for me meant that, okay, we had grown as an organization. So it wasn't all that bad, Chantel. I don't know if I've answered your question. I can go on forever. I talk a lot.
No, you have. I think when we think about the pandemic, a lot of us are stuck at home, I think your service was one that was able to continue even during the pandemic, because those are needs that people need, we need your expertise. So let's see, so none of your employees got retrenched?
No, not at all.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We have not retrenched. We've actually added 2 more employees.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, that's great, Dr. Mkhaya. Is there anyone in your field that has struggled that you know of, that struggled to stay afloat during the pandemic?
Afloat.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, my colleagues have sort of searched through this period because, the mining industry have now were actually anxious. And my advice to my colleagues would be that we shouldn't take advantage of the anxiety of our clients, because you would find that a client, for example, a mine with 5,000 employees would want a COVID test, and that would be a costly exercise, because you, for as much as you can test COVID-19 and you get the results, it doesn't say that the individual who tested negative today is not going to go out there into the community and get infected and come back to work. So we had to find a way to reassure them that on a daily basis, we just continue with the screening and continue with the baseline, the basic principles, the universal precautions of preventing any infectious disease at the workplace, which is washing of hands, constantly sanitizing. So actually, my colleagues have done well during this pandemic.
Okay, that's...
And I'm sure Sister Moreva would attest to that, because she's also in the occupational health field. I see she's smiling.
Yes. Okay, great. I think the pandemic taught us to think of different ways to maintain what we already have.
What I can add is that Chantal, we are essentials. We are in essential services. So with the pandemic COVID-19, we're not really affected, but instead, like Dr. Mahadi just mentioned it that way, we ended up needing more staff because the pressure becomes so high that, everyone now when it's sick, they started now to take their illness seriously. They are not ignoring any issue. So yeah, on our side, it has become, it's like, it has upgraded us in terms of our professional and our services. Actually, we worked harder than before.
Okay, great. Yes. Everyone has their season of just growing. Okay, so Bumi, I see you're also in the medical field, and from my hometown in Mpumalanga, I'm from White River. Yeah, we are still a growing province in many fields. Do you think you can transform Mpumalanga through your work?
Yeah, I think I can. Not that I can. I think I've already started, but with the assistance that I got from the NPC, the Unjani, because it's a non-profitable organization that found me, and they assisted me in starting the private clinic that I'm running currently. So I have played a major role, and especially around the community of where the clinic is based, which is Kanyamazane, and even the surrounding areas. Now the community has accessibility to a private clinic, which provides them a quality care and it's very affordable. So that has built a trust again. It has revived the trust again from the clients towards us as professionals, because at some point you find that some of the community or some of the patients, they've lost trust, when they go and consult somewhere else. But then now with the private clinic that is right in their place, they've learned to gain trust, to say that there's still people out there who are caring, and there's still people out there who are also passionate with the work that they are doing, providing the best to them and keeps them happy at all times. Yeah, that's what I can say, Chantal.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. So what do you think we can do for ourselves as a community? Because even though we need people like you to help grow the community, I think we need to also put ourselves out there so that the unemployed youth and the educated unemployed youth can also have an opportunity to get a job somewhere or somehow. So what can you say to the unemployed youth? What can they do to be more active?
You know what, no? what I can say to the youth right now that are unemployed is to, they need to, find something that they are passionate with. And given the situation that we've got this pandemic right now, and of which opportunities are very slim, and things are not moving the way we wanted it to move. So I will encourage them that because they've got more time for themselves, let them be let them be out there, or go out there, volunteer somewhere where your passion is. Don't just sit at home and do nothing, just go out and volunteer and make yourself useful, because you will never know, because you may say I just started as a volunteer, but at the end of the day you get a secured professional job. So I will really encourage the youth just to go out, go somewhere, volunteer, find yourself, do something, use this time to your most profitable way that you can use.
Yes, that's great. Sometimes you have to work for free to get where you want to get to. Patria, so I'll just ask you your question as well. And your question is, so I saw that you are the Vice President of SAFA, which is the South African Football Association, for those who don't know. We all know that football is a male-dominated sport. So with your experience, what do you think is the main power struggle between men and women in high positions?
Chantel, over a period of my journey in this life, especially in football and business, I just realized that women are sometimes our worst enemies. I've found that there's a lack of support from colleagues, women colleagues, in any sphere of life where a woman goes up the ladder. You find that women are not supportive, are not actually supportive. Even when women have challenges, you don't find women standing up together to fight those challenges. I know some challenges might be the fault of that particular woman, but I just believe that women have got so much power if we stand together. And I realize in the male-dominated industry that I've been, that men they have mastered to weaken women by just dividing us. When women are divided, we are the weakest. But when we stand together, we are the strongest. You can see, for example, with the Mori case, women stood up together, and within a week or two, he resigned from his position. That's the power of women. And I want to see in my lifetime women just standing together as women to achieve a lot of things in our lives. In my journey, because it was even when I got in there were no women. I would go into a congress of 500 people. I'm the only woman there, but I took it upon myself, because I'm a God-fearing person. I would pray before I go there and say, God, give me the ability to stand up in front of those men and raise my issue. And I found myself being able to do that over and over again. That is why I was able to take a team of young boys and age 10, 12, and finally take that team to the Premier League of this country. It was the dedication, the commitment, and the passion. Because I also think a lot of people do things because someone else is doing it. There's no passion, there's no dedication. And in that case, you are supposed to not succeed in what you are doing. So I've always say, whatever you do in your life, have a plan for it. When I started in football, for example, Chantel, in 1989, I said to myself, I'm putting 10 years. I'm giving 10 years to plan and make sure that I'm the first Black woman to own a soccer team in the Premier League. And in my province, I was actually talking about Limpopo province then, because there was no team in the Premier League. I was not the first. There was a man that brought the team first in the Premier League. But believe me, 1999, Ria Stars was promoted to the Premier League. And it was because of the plan, the dedication, the commitment, and the passion that I have. Even when women said, what is this woman doing in a man's world? I listened with one ear and it went away with the other ear. I just said, I am committed with this project that I'm doing, and I am going to succeed in it, whether the women support me or not. But in the process, I know they will see that there is a room for women to be in a men's world, the so-called men's world, because I don't believe we have that world. It's our world. Thank you, Chantal.
Thank you so much. And that's so true. I think I've seen it as well. It's unfortunate that women, we look down on each other. But thank you so much, Ria. Does anyone else want to add on this topic of male-female power struggles?
Can I just say something to add on what Ria said? I think what Ria said is very important. I think for especially us women, we need a lot of times that we are just looking at other people and say, they are getting a lot of things that we cannot get. And then we need to encourage each other through education. And then if you can get educated and then you will get a meaningful work. And you need to contribute to the country's economy also. And then also, I think even in our country, there's a lot of policies that are not working, especially for women. And the policy and program actions are needed that will improve women's access to secure livelihood. For example, the employment and economic resources to alleviate women's extreme responsibility with regard to housework. Because we cannot sit down and say men are superior while we are not doing anything for ourselves. We need to raise social awareness through effective programs. That's a lot of things that are lacking in our part. And then also to remove these legal impediments to our participation in public life. It's very important. We are not exposed very much to public life as we want a lot of time. But if we can women group together and do a lot of programs together, I think we can encourage a lot of girls that are growing up so that they know what to do, what skills they need to do. It's not that, remember nowadays our children, I've studied, like for example, my child, my firstborn is an engineer, but he's not working because there's no work. But he's trying by all means to do the hard work that he can so that he can survive. We need to teach our children and our girls that. So we have to, but they need support. And looking at our government, they've got this support, but really it's a good thing. But with us, and then when the children or the women want to get those support from the government, there are a lot of stumbling blocks that they get. So I don't know how to alleviate that. I think to alleviate it is for us to get those skills and then to do it on our own, because you cannot rely on other people. For example, if I didn't study and then sit and say somebody is going to, okay, yeah. It's like now I'm a grown up, I need to encourage my children. When I was studying for my children so that they can see that education is very important, even though you may not get the job that you want. But if you are educated, one day something will come out, and the one day you can open your own business like Ria did. So it's our own. You need to look at yourself and say, I can do it. You don't have to look down on ourselves.
Definitely. I think that's what I'm learning as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Sophie. So let me ask you your question. So you're in the field of technology, computer science, where more and more females are starting to become a part of that world. What crisis or challenges do women face in that kind of working environment?
The challenges in this field, a lot of young girls are afraid to enter in this kind of field. And you have to trust yourself so that you can go into that field. Because previously, girls were discouraged to get into this field. But for me, I just wanted to prove myself. If I was a youngster, I wanted to study nearly every qualification so that I can empower myself. Unfortunately, I studied when I was too old to come back to school, and but I'm encouraging young women to study. In the past, young girls didn't want to study this field because they were told it's a man's field. It's like engineering. But nowadays, we are encouraging them to enter into this field, and it's very much challenging. They are doing even intelligent industrial system engineering. It's very much difficult, but if you have got the passion of IT, it's nice to be in this field. And a lot of young girls are qualifying from this field. I like it when I see them when they do their projects. It's very much interesting. And I don't think it's only a men's qualification. Even us, I just proved them. I wanted to do the PhD in computer science and data processing. And then at first they didn't want me to do it. They said, no, you can't do it. I said, I am going to do it. And I've done it. I don't think there is any challenges that the girls cannot do it. And our experiences is sometimes there are children who are applying for this they are applying for the qualification, even though they qualify for IT. They don't want to do it because they've been told that IT is too difficult. Mm-hmm. But we encourage them, we motivate them until they get in and see that you can also do IT.
Yeah. Definitely. I think it's just learning that there's something called computer science, you know. So we're unlearning that I don't need to do anything specific, but I can do whatever I want to do. So thank you, Dr.
Yeah, most of the time they think you only do computer science. In the Faculty of Information and Communication Technology, there are a lot of qualifications that you can do, not only computer science, but you can do web and multimedia, you can do industrial engineering, you can do computer system engineering. So there's a lot of qualifications that they can specialize in.
Yes.
So they don't have to fear.
Thank you so much. Sunshine. Let me ask you your question. Okay, so I saw that you've done a plethora of work in various fields and worked with well-known people. What did you learn about the industry that surprised you, either the fashion side or the corporate side?
For me, what I can actually share, what surprised me was actually the way our leader in the institution professionally was behaving, every day, that he came to the office. His character and his behavior made me realize that to achieve what you want, you have to work hard. Not that you are lucky. And a lot of people mistake being lucky and hard work. They think when you've succeeded, you are lucky. But I think this has to really, be differentiated. When you succeed, it means there's something that you've been doing right. It means you have been observing the changes.
it means that you are deliberate about something that you do. It means that you are strategic in the things that you undertake. It means that nothing can come your way. And this is what we need to be sharing, as leaders, even when they say females don't work together. It is a myth that we need to kill because it is not true. And, the men have taken advantage of this myth so that they perpetuate it so they can get everything. In Zambia here, I can tell you, I'm the first woman, to sit on the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry Board. And I can tell you, on the board there are 17 and 16 men and 1 female, myself. They don't even feel bad about it. And that I can tell you, they don't feel bad. And even when there's some place to go, they would pick themselves and, because that's normal to them. So I always have to stand up and say, oh, I think remove one there and put me there because I need to be there because I'm the only representative. So we really have to, to show why we have to we have to sit on that table. And we don't have to be shy to sit on the table because a woman, when they're on that table, it means they're 10 times better than the men around the table. And that is the truth. So let's just, work hard. Let's be, God directed. Let's not, hear these small voices that disturb women. We shouldn't be, doing those things. And let's just do it. Let's just do it. If we can't do it, delegate. And we have to make sure that the people that will be delegated to are doing exactly what we would like because they're also interested in what they're being delegated to. So that's what I can say about, this topic that we have, where we have to be deliberate and make sure that the things that we want to happen can happen because that's what we want.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. We have to take up space, as Rosie said. So I think I'm about to get really deep, but I believe it's a conversation we need to have. When you think about the system, the way in which everything functions and is intertwined with everything else, it really makes you realize how vile the system actually is. I'm not just talking about the government system, which we all know already has its faults. I'm talking about the family system. We have thousands of single mothers raising sons and daughters. Then we have rape and domestic violence alongside things like poverty and unemployment. I think we have a generational curse, forgive me for going spiritual, but a curse of being silenced. Statements like, it happened to me and it happened to my child, so that's just the way it is because there's no one that's going to help me. Okay, so my question is, what does it take to be a woman despite the accolades and achievements? Because what we have to endure behind closed doors was a different part of Strong that nobody really gets to see. Mukhadi, I haven't heard your voice in a while.
Before I answer that question, let me just acknowledge all the women on this platform. I wanted to scream when Ria joined because she's my inspiration. So I'm so excited to be part of this panel. And I acknowledge each and every single one of you, Dr. Sophia, Sunshine, Chantel, and Boom. Thank you so much. I hope we can get to visit Lusaka. When she joins again, I'll tell her. Sunshine. Okay. Chantel, I think that the topic of women empowerment, I'll get to your specific question, but I just want to say this. I think the topic of women empowerment in general is so broad and complex because there's so many deep levels intertwined together, as you rightly said. There's cultural practices, there's religious side of things, there's personal preferences, there's a whole lot of issues compacted in this topic of women empowerment. And I think we cannot really talk about it without mentioning a few words about the root cause, which is gender inequality. And I think gender inequality, it affects women differently at different levels of socioeconomic status. Because you've got on the one end, a woman in rural Limpopo who's struggling to get out of her abusive marriage because she simply can't afford to go out and start over. And on the other hand, you've got a black chartered accountant who's struggling in the boardroom, who's having to work twice as hard to get paid less money compared to her male counterparts, even less so compared to her white male counterparts. So it's the same monster, but women at different levels of socioeconomic status are experiencing the different phases of this same monster. So coming back to your question, what does it take to be a woman? Is that what you're asking? What does it take to be a woman in the face of all that, of what we are experiencing at work and even at home, no matter what level of socioeconomic status you are at? Because we do, all of us, as I said, we do experience gender inequality. I can give an example, but about myself. In my field, as an occupational medical practitioner, I'm finding that when I deal with clients, I have to work twice as hard as a white company to prove myself, to prove that I'm worthy, to prove that I can actually do the work because I'm a qualified specialist. I have clients checking me and vetting me as compared to a white male ONP, or occupational medical practitioner. So what it would take for me to remain who I am, a qualified black professional woman, is to do the best that I can do at all times, so that you cannot find fault with the work that I am doing. It's unfortunate that we have to do that despite all the criticism, because when somebody wants to find fault in what you've done, they will pinpoint even the lack of full stop at the end of your sentence as a fault. So what I usually do is just to stand my ground, make sure that I give the client the best service possible so that I can even stand in court for the work that I've done. I think we can win if we, like we said, if we stand together. We don't practice the pull down syndrome. We support each other, but you make sure that you become the best version of yourself. You do the best at any given point in time, and you keep developing. My last qualification was the Master of Medicine in Occupational Medicine. I've been telling myself I should upgrade now. I've been sitting on this qualification for 2 years now. It's about time I beat myself at the game. So constant improvement, constant personal development, and giving your best at every point in time so that people will find it difficult to find fault in your work.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Mokhadi. Thank you for your point of view. Mpumi, you can share with us next your experience.
Fine now. Thank you. Yeah, that's such a question. But for me to be where I am, despite all this, being a single parent or being under, maybe undermined as a woman, it's for myself, it's about courage. It's about the passion. It's about the goals that you set for your life. What do you want to see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years? And what is it that is pushing you to achieve or to realize such a goal? So I think when you dedicated to whatever you have set your eyes on, it pushes you, you get that courage to go forward. And irrespective of whoever might say whatever, it's true what Dr. Mokhadi has just mentioned, that we as a Black woman, let me put it like that, you get undermined in our field, especially when you have maybe to refer patient somewhere in our cases, or maybe you are recommending something about the patient. You find that now they call, they want to check, is it okay? What did you use? They are looking for mistakes in everything that you're doing. But despite all of that, as long as you know what you're doing and you do it correctly, and you give it all of yourself to whatever you are doing, I think that's the only tool that can make you to succeed and go further and prove even to those that are thinking that you cannot maybe do it better because you are a Black woman, or you cannot do it better because you happens to be in a men's field. But yeah, I think all of and above is just to be, to have confidence within yourself in everything that you're doing, and give yourself time and put all your energy into it. Then you succeed above all. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Mpumi. I agree. Okay, so next I ask Ria, you can share your side.
Well, I want to first agree with Dr. Mukadi there that I think the first step is to identify who you are. Besides your accolade, besides your achievement, besides your status. Dr. Mukadi, I see another doctor, they went to school and qualified for that. I am the vice president of SAFA because I've been elected. And I believe I should leave that status behind and be the woman that I am. What I've realized is that a lot of us, we in this journey of life, we forget who we are. And I think in a journey of life, you are supposed to lose people at some point, and I think we are afraid to lose people. We are afraid because then you lose your identity. You stand for something that you should not be standing for. You are afraid to question the things that you need to question because you are just afraid that if I just question this particular leader, I am going to be victimized. I'm not going to be able to stand with the group. I have learned in my life that I'll rather stand alone for the truth. If I believe that there's a truth in what I'm talking about, I stand by it. It doesn't matter the crowd that is behind me. I always believe that most of the time the truth are not told. You said we shouldn't, we know what is happening in government, but if you look at a lot of things that are happening currently in our country, says people can't stand up and tell the truth, because I am trying to win this crowd to be always behind me and all that. I must say that in the football industry, for example, there's a lot of challenges for women, especially the girls that are playing soccer, but the one important thing that they have achieved as women in football, in particular, you can see currently we have got about 32 young girls that are playing football overseas. You cannot talk that about men. Look at the difference between Bafana team and the women's team. They have qualified to the World Cup. They are doing better. So I agree with Sylvia that, when we are in the boardroom, I think we do better than men. I always find that you find yourself, you are the only woman, and I think this only thing, Sylvia, where you say, I'm, the first vice president, I'm the only woman that has, we should be able to find a way of bringing, as we retire, we must be able, or not even when we retire, when we are still in the field, we must be able to bring young girls. We must be their role model. They must be seeing that if she can be able to come from a village, a rural village in Zanin, and be able to conquer the football, the so-called men's field, and be able to be there, there must be something that she has done that has led her to be able to that achievement. And I think a lot of time we don't speak a lot about our achievements as women. And I think I love this platform, that it is a platform that we can share globally, with other women out there, what women have achieved. I mean, she talks about her being the only woman in a 17 board of men. I am the only, we are 5 women in a board of 36 men. So you can imagine when you have to take a decision in there, if you do not have strong women that will be able to support you, or that will just come and sit there and not do it and not contribute, you are going to lose, that battle. I've seen in my career that there are so many battles that you have lost, not necessarily because it's what you're talking about. It's not for the benefit of football, but just because men believe that no, because it comes from a woman, it can't be done. It's not something that it can be done. And I just believe women must this accolades and achievements that we have, we must leave them behind and be able to hold each other's hand as women and be able to support each other. Where a woman is struggling with an issue, women must stand up. I must give you an example of a woman that was sexually abused by a coach, and now the man comes and they ask her, no, please drop the case and all that. And I'm saying many women do that. We are poor, we know, all of us, that we are poor. People are bored, are bored to withdraw. And I was telling this woman that, look, I have established a foundation, and this foundation is going to I was just giving an example of the young girl in Eastern Cape that has been said. And I was saying, look, the foundation is going to support you. I want you to stand up and not be bought. You must never allow men to come to you and say to you, drop the case, we will give you so much. And that is why a lot of women have not succeeded in their sexual harassment cases, because they think when you have lodged your complaint, that's it. You don't get the legal advice, you don't get the legal background, backup, for you to be able to go to court, because the perpetrator will come with a team of legal experts. And then that is why we see so many sexual harassment cases have been dropped. No evidence, no that. So I am bringing this because I have stand up and say the foundation will be able to get you a legal team that will be able to stand so that you are not going to be bought. And I remind her every week that please do not be bought. I know you might need the money, but I want you to stand up and be able to be counted with women that have stand up and for their rights, because that's your right. If you get money for it, you are giving away your right. So that's the situation in our life, where many girls in the soccer, because the coaches are men, they get abused and nothing happens to it. Though because the parents are poor, the young girl wants to play soccer. If I tell about this coach, I'm not going to be in the team. So those are the challenges that are there. And I'm saying, as women, we need to stand up as women and protect our field as women. And we can do much more than what we are doing currently now. And I think it can be done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ria. I think what the point was there is that telling the truth is important. We're so afraid of telling the truth in this country, and that's true. Okay, Sunshine, you can share your point, your side.
the closed door issues, and you know, this is actually what differentiates people who stand up for their rights, women who stand up for their rights, and those who don't. From my upbringing, where I come out of a girl's family, you know, and girls' family who have been brought up by a solid father who understands that women or girl children are stronger and good, better than even male children, because he didn't experience, you know, the male children. So he had to bring his children as whoever he wanted them to be. And we've been brought up strong, that we can stand up and fight for our own rights. Even for me, my first child was is male. At first, we didn't even know what to do with him. So we're busy, like, the only male, you know, character in our lives was dad. And it was so difficult to actually embrace. So we had to learn. And even the way that I have brought up my kids, there's nothing like you are male, you are female, because I just ask them to show me their hands. And if there's no male, you know, article in their hands, they're going to do exactly what I expect them to do. Cook, you know, clean up, make their beds, and all these things. Same with the girls. So there is no difference unless they can show me that their their manhood is in their hands, then they can just sit and watch it. So I have deliberately been raised strong children, and this has actually been very difficult even with my girls. I've raised up very strong children, who was actually saying one time, you know, one of them was asking the father, is this our real mother? Is this our real mother? She's so strong, you know, maybe if we don't do this, then we you know, we get thumped or something like that. It's okay. Me, I'm one person who has actually brought up my kids in the real world. They can stay anywhere, not with kids' gloves, where I say, no, if we don't pick you from school, you can be lost. Deliberately, you leave them to fend for themselves and let them get on the bus and, you know, find out what it is, you know, to be on that bus. Because I am the CEO, I am the managing director, not them. The house that we live in is ours, me and my husband. It's not theirs. They can fend for themselves and get the, you know, the things that they want. And this is what has caused, so when my child stands up on the podium and speaks with authoritative, they suffer from ageism. You know this, you can't be saying that because you are young and you're a girl. And I tell them in their face that I am me. I'm not my mother. I'm not my grandmother. I am me. And I'm developing me so that I can replace my mom, because that's what we know. So if we can all develop our siblings, our children to stand up for what is right, to be ethical, to be spiritually, you know, learned that you do things as if somebody's looking. For me, that's what has helped me, because I can stand up on each and any platform. I can stand up and I can speak, and I'm not going to be looking at, because I did something wrong yesterday, I posted some inappropriate picture in the social media. So even my children, they can never post, they can never post anything that they will regret. Never. They have to read through. I've asked each person in my life, when they want to post something, they have to read again. What if it was them receiving that? How would they feel? And this is why I have chosen to speak about common sense, because they don't teach it at school, but it's all aligned with the things that we do. So it doesn't matter where you come from. And when I am at home, in my home, with my husband, I actually kneel down to my husband when I'm serving him. And I don't feel shy about it, because that's me. And that's my culture of respect. So I don't pretend. I live a life the way it is. I can say anything when my husband is there or when he's not. I can say the same thing when my, father is there or when he's not. I can say the same thing when I'm speaking to the president or when I'm speaking to my staff. The last time that we were in Parliament defending a bill for, a certain bill, because they consult the chamber before they go ahead and do that. So they were asking me about how, we are good at formulating policy and yet we are not good at implementation. Then because they give you immunity, but even if I didn't get immunity, I'll still say it anyway. So I told him that, you know what, when, government officials are formulating policy, they go out to nice lodges, they are speaking, they come out, they're looking at all the things that they're looking at, disturbing, they're looking at issues of bread and butter, that they are working. So for them, that is work. So they have to develop this. They're not even going to be affected by that regulation. They are not. They are working. They are workers. But it's affecting me as an entrepreneur. That policy that they are formulating is affecting me. And even when they are formulating, they don't even consult me. They come and consult me today when it's written. I've got nothing to do with it. So, and when they bring it, as a policy, then they're finished work. It's now up to somebody else to implement it. And once it's done, they're not going, when they're, formulating it, they're receiving allowances, they're happy, everything is work and they're getting paid for it. When it's out of their jurisdiction, they've got nothing to do with it, and they're not even going to be held accountable whatsoever that they are the ones who have managed to, to put that regulation. And they're not going to get paid for it, and they're not going to be punished for it if it doesn't work. So that is, the challenge that we have. We mix the two. People that formulating and people that are implementing don't talk to each other at one point. So for me, this question of what happens behind closed doors, we make them ourselves. We make them. We can avoid them by living a truthful life that tells exactly who we are and what we stand for. I hope I've answered the question.
You have in detail. You sound a bit like my mom, so I know what it's like having a strict parent. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sunshine. So we just have one more person that needs to speak, Dr. Sophie.
Okay. We need to remember that women are playing a very important role at work, even at home. But there are a lot of challenges that we encounter, especially at home. Really, when you are married, especially the young girls that are coming, who are going to get married, really, you need to take care and take cognizance of everything that you do, everything that your husband do. Because a lot of women are also getting a lot of challenges regarding their own children who are abused by their own fathers. So it's very touching, and seeing, you see this person is struggling, and then the man can abuse this girl, your first child, and then you open a case. After opening the case, then you close that case again. Then you pardon that man. And then after that, the man will continue. Even if you were pregnant at the time he was abusing the first girl, and then he still continues to abuse those. We see this every now and then. Recently, I've seen it in my family happening. But, it's very much discouraging for young girls to get married, because they may not identify that their men are abusing their children. And then for their biological children, it's very sad. And then we need to empower these women. They must know that we need to promote women's sense of self-worth. and promote their ability to determine their own choices. And then if you don't have those choices, then you've got a problem. So we need to have the right to influence social change in themselves. There are a lot of characteristics that I can mention, but I'm only going to mention few. We need to have sense of self-confidence. Because if you don't have that self-confidence, and then we tend to just obey everything that is happening, even at work, even at home. So we need to do that. And then we need to prove our men that we can do whatever they think we can't do it. This is an attitude about our skills and abilities. And it means you need to accept and trust yourself and have a sense of self-control in your life. Otherwise, our men will play with us. They will stand on our head. I don't like people standing on my head. You know, when one is feeling confidence in yourself, you might depend on their situation. So it is really a problem for us women. We need to encourage each other. Even at work, we do encounter a lot of things things that can take you down, but we have to pull ourselves up. We must have that self-confidence that one cannot take you down. And then you need to realize that you are special in your own way. So we need to have that well presented. This means that we need to take pride in our appearance and our dresses well and well groomed. And then we need to appreciate and be approachable and then have this personable, and we smile warmly and encourage in open, and you can feel comfortable about yourself. If we can have that confidence, I don't think any challenge we might have. And then at home, we need to teach our children also that they must stand on their own. They shouldn't rely on other people. That's why at work we get these challenges of people demoralizing us. I didn't want to be demoralized because I was holding this position of a secretary while having a master's degree. But I continued studying so that I can prove to these people, those that say you can't do this job. And I did it. I continued to study. I continued to, when they pressured me, they were giving me the pride to go on with my studies so that I can prove that one day what I want, I'm going to achieve. So I don't have any problem with those things that people or other qualities. Remember, as a human being, we need to be honest and never apologize for who you are and what you are doing. And then we need to encourage each other.
I'm so grateful to have had 5 beautiful women join me today in this interview, and I am touched, I am inspired to just keep moving, keep running the race. And I think what we've learned today is that learn to speak your truth and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to speak up for who you are and what you believe in, but also know who you are. Be confident in the woman that you are and use that power wherever you go. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to tell the truth. Despite your accolades, despite your achievements, know who you are. And that was honestly inspiring, and I hope that each of you are inspired and that you take something from this interview and you use it in your lives, and that we become a community that helps each other, that doesn't leave anyone behind, as long as you're willing and hardworking, because it's nothing, as Sunshine said, is out of luck. You have to work hard for everything you earn. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, because we will definitely be back with more more conversations from people from different industries, different fields of work, and I think it's important to have this conversation as Africa so that we grow and we unite, because the whole point of Empowering Africa is to unite us. So thank you so much, and stay tuned for more. This is Empowering Africa with Eternal Productions, and that's it from me, your host, Chantal Biela. Hope you enjoyed,